Hi, welcome back to another lesson. I'm going to show you a practice technique that you might have not heard of before. It is practicing your scales over pedal tones. What is a pedal tone? Well, lots of different songs have pedal tones in the riffs. It's basically just a low note or a high note that is repeated throughout every bar, and there's a riff that kind of spins around it. One famous pedal tone riff is Sex on Fire by Kings of Leon. So it can be argued that this is a pedal tone, the low E, and then when you switch to the next shape, that C sharp minor, that C sharp is also a pedal tone. Another famous riff is Rhiannon by Fleetwood Mac. So you can see the pedal tone starts on the A minor, just with an A pedal tone as this riff pops up. And then the next pedal tone is an F. So again, there's a melody moving over top of a low bass note. So that is essentially a pedal tone. Before you move on, make sure to click that like button, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so you never miss another lesson. So when we're practicing pedal tones, we're going to be wanting to use a stop tail piece. Now I'll show you that in just a second here. The reason why is when we're bending the strings, if we have anything but a stop tail piece, you could have a whammy bar and put a bunch of blocks of wood in the back. I'm not going to get into that. But when you have a stop tail piece and you bend and you still have a note and you still have a low E going, it doesn't change the low E because this is situated in place and it's not going to budge. I'll show you that with my Paul Reed Smith right now, okay? Here we go. Sorry, that was cheesy. I couldn't help myself. So here's the reason why you don't want to practice pedal tones on a floating bridge or a tremolo piece back here. Like you can, but you won't be able to do some bends. So here is right off the bat, I'm going to show you what happens. If we have our low E going, and say I'm in the pentatonic, and I go to bend, do you hear that low E? And it's actually getting, the bridge is getting pulled a little bit as I bend the string, and that is making the E go to tune. So what I would suggest, if you're just going to do E and just kind of bob around like this, avoid those bends altogether because you're not going to really stay in pitch, especially when you're bending and the low root note that you're trying to be in pitch with is out of pitch. So when you're bending, your intonation is not going to be there. It's not a great way to practice your bending or bending with intonation in mind. Okay, so that's number one reason to practice with a stop tail piece. And like I said, if you're gonna do it with the tremolo or like a whammy bar piece here, then just avoid the bends. And that's something I do a lot anyways too. But again, I won't bend. So there's lots of brands that have a stop tail piece that is kind of like a standard. Gibson's definitely one of them. There's a lot of different brands out there, of course. This is just one of my recommendations. If you don't have that, then I also showed you how you can practice without one. But I'm going to do this demonstration on my lovely SG today. So to use a pedal tone when you're practicing your scales, just simply hit the low note and start doing a scale. I like to start either from the bottom, you can start on the A string, go go up your E minor pentatonic. You can go to the next box. Every once in a while, hit that low E. Let it ring out. It's going to be a nice little guide. Then you can hear the different boxes as well. With that bass note going. You might be able to start hearing the different boxes just solely by playing them too. So the pedal tone is at your, discretion. You can just hit it whenever you want. Natural minor. I usually don't play any notes on the low E string if I'm playing with a pedal tone, because it's going, and I want to hear that note going in the background. It's kind of like playing with an extra guitar player. Right? When I went to the low E there, it disappeared. This lesson doesn't have any tab, but by all means, I have lots of lessons with tab out there. There is one example I'm going to use, which is switching scales using a minor second in this lesson. So you can check that out. I'm going to do more lessons on switching scales within chords and things like that in the future. But for now, that is the only lesson right now. So switching scales with a minor second. So print that off if you want to check out a cool little trick from switching major to a minor and back and forth. So here is a minor. And now if I'm using a minor second, right, cheeky little major. Back to minor. I love the blues notes too. This is all about just playing around and feeling the different notes and thinking about a chord underneath it, and also thinking about switching your modes and switching your scales around over that one note. I love to do that stuff. So again, if I'm in a major, maybe a little major arpeggios are nice. Right, switch to the minor. And that's the thing with the stop tail piece. I can do these bends and really make sure I nail the intonation on these. So let's up this now, okay? We're gonna go from the E pedal tone to the A pedal tone and back to the E pedal tone. So one thing that I practice a lot is little arpeggios, like I was saying. So we're in E. Now if you just simply hit A, right? I can even switch my key right there. If I wanted to switch keys, I could switch back to E. Now, if you're playing an A chord, right, over your Ionian, it's the 4. It's the 4 chord, right? A little bit of a floating sound. Back to E. Okay, so those are your major chords, right? Say we just wanted to go back between E minor and A minor. We can totally do that. That's all you need is the roots. Little harmonic minor note. Okay, that's all fine and dandy, but you know what? E minor, E major, A major. Okay, I've done that now. I'm done that. Let's do a pedal tone in another key. This is the cheeky little bit here. If I play a third fret on my D string, what do I get? I get an F, right? Well, nobody ever told you that you can actually take that E string, and why don't we just go up to an F? Not gonna hurt your guitar, not gonna hurt your strings, okay? So now you're in F major or F minor. It's a cheeky way to switch keys, and you know, it's not much work. And now I can practice all my positions in F. And you see how much it just fills up the space. You know, if I'm doing just things in F, right? Nice little riffs, but just really fills up the space nicely. So I really like that. Okay, below F, you know what? Let's do the same thing with the A string. Let's make it into a B flat or an A sharp. So if you play B flat here, the third fret on the G string, and we can crank our A up to B flat. And remember, B flat is the 4 chord of F, so you can go back and forth between F and B flat like we did with E and A. But if I just wanted to practice B flat, there you go. The relative minor is G minor. Remember, we want to avoid that low E string. You might not be able to bend up because it blocks the string now. Lots of ways to have fun with this. Going the opposite direction now is also something we can do. Let's go to everybody's favorite D. So if we just do a drop D, get rid of those waves. Okay, cool. There we go. D. I automatically go to D minor. So anyways, a lot of fun. D major as well. Relative minor is B minor. So again, if you just wanted to do D, and then if you don't know your modes, you can just hit the pentatonic boxes in the relative minor. So that would be B minor. This is all about having fun and going at your own pace. Listening to the different notes. You know, that's a good experiment too. If you wanted to just hear the notes in D, right? If you're in D here, there's that low D, go up the 2, very interesting harmony. There's the natural third or the major third, right? The 4, the 5, also part of the chord. Relative minor. A lot of tension in the 7, in the major 7. I play on kind of heavy strings. I think this is a 50 or a 52 right now, so I can actually go a little bit lower. So why don't we take this all the way down to C? I think that's going to be our limit here. The way I like to get to C is I just put my first finger on the C on the B string. A little hard to hear it. So that's nice and low, right? I'm almost buzzing out there. But the thing is, it's the pedal tone practice, right? So I just want to hear, that low note. C minor. And you do C major. Everybody's some people's first scale is C major or A minor. So there's, A minor is the relative minor to C major. And I will just reiterate, right, the key with the stop tail piece is when I bend a note, it doesn't pull the bridge with it. So this low pedal tone stays in tune, it keeps going. So that when I do practice bends, add it a little, then you can stay in tune. It helps with your intonation. It's going to help with your bending and with your playing and playing in tune overall. So I missed a few keys like in between E and D. If you're going to drop D, you can actually hit E flat before you go to drop D. You can also do D flat or C sharp and practice all your scales. Again, all your minor scales, all your major scales, it's just one note, so you can make it major or minor. You can flip between the two scales a little bit, as I've shown you. But make sure to check out my website, lastguitarexperience.com. You can find a ton of lessons on there, printable tabs, and Guitar Pro 7 PDFs and stuff like that. I also just launched a Patreon, so you can check that out too when you search Last Guitar Experience at Patreon. You can get a bunch of little goodies and things that are just extra for you guys too. Just some exclusive stuff like me tracking and some maybe some bonus lessons down the road. I just launched it, so check it out. You can get all that stuff for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.